Well, it's a chilly evening here at Premier Sports Campus, Lakewood Ranch, Florida. For tonight's Nike International Friendlies, Game 2, Match Day 1, it is United States as they take on Portugal. Good evening, everyone. Mike Pepper alongside Mark Serber. And Mark, we're sitting here on his second match. We had a low-scoring one, Brazil beating Turkey earlier on 1-0. But tonight, both these teams look to be rather excited, although in a chilly mood.
Expect there to be more goals in this game than the last one. Portugal obviously has produced some of the best midfielders and forwards in the world, and I'm really excited to see what this current crop of U-17 players have. For the U.S., obviously a lot of attacking talent as well, and a real passion, desire, and drive. They have scored in the last 5 minutes of their last 2 games to get victories, and so expect more of that here tonight from this U.S. side. Last
time the United States faced Portugal, they ended up winning that year, 2016, in the Nike International Friendlies. We will pause for the anthems. We'll tell you more about the Nike International Friendlies to get you ready for kickoff here as we hear first the Portuguese national anthem. Well, the anthems are done, but we are getting ready to get started here between the United States and Portugal. As we were talking a little bit about this, obviously with the Nike International Friendlies, the U.S. from 2 years ago were able to face them. Last year, there were 7 members of this United States team that are getting a chance here. Obviously, they're still on the run for the World Cup. They were young enough last year, but a little more experience into this game tonight.
Yeah, and that was really the first meeting of this new cycle, and now they're in their 9th camp together. So for the players that have come through and for the players that are coming in, this is really just another opportunity for the coaching staff to evaluate this player pool and also to get their depth chart ready as they head into qualifying in the spring.
So we get a good look at the referees and the photographs that will come up with it. Elio Aragin is the referee. Cephas Quartzen and Matthew Rodman are on the lines, and Charles Murphy will be your 4th official. As we sit there, the United States will be wearing, well, first of all, let's look at Portugal since they're on the screen, the seafoam green that kind of became became the little norm in the last World Cup of the men's national team that we all saw Cristiano Ronaldo donning. The United States, and this might be my favorite jersey yet we have seen, is the all white from head to toe, but the red and blue alternating, or at least the red and blue on the stripes on the jersey. I don't know, sharp looking. That when I saw that come out earlier in the year, I was like, oh, I got to get me one.
Oh, it's befitting of this team. They're very sharp. You know, they're on a 2-game winning streak coming off that Youth International tournament in England. Came from behind 2-0 to beat Brazil 3-2, and then also came from behind to beat Russia 2-1. So this is a team that's in really good form, and this is their 4th international tournament in this cycle. So they're getting a lot of great experience as they look to get that comfort and that speed of play and understand the expectations going into international qualifying as they look to qualify for their 17th U-17 World Cup.
And that will be one thing we'll be talking about throughout the match. Quaresma wears the captain's armband for Portugal. He'll also don number 4 for the United States. It will be Reina. And, of course, yes, for those, Giovanni Reina. He is the son of Claudio Reina, who was many years out there. Figio is the... We'll try that.
Yeah,
what do we have there, please, Mark?
We just got a note in, and the FYI is actually for your information.
Yes, absolutely.
Which,
I love it.
Gio is wearing the captain's armband tonight, as you can see right there, but he was just nominated for Young Player of the Year as the nominations just came out.
Very good. As Gio will get a chance, as we mentioned, his father, Claudio, who is long time member, and everyone knows him through the United States national team as well. As we get ready for kickoff, the United States will be going from right to left on your screen, and it's so typical here at Lakewood Ranch. We find the afternoon game strong wind. The winds have pretty much died down. There is going to be no real wind advantage. It had in the earlier games gone from the north to the south, which is left to right on your screen. As it is, the United States will be kicking off as we are underway from Lakewood Ranch here for the second game of the Nike International Friendlies. And the ball played up long, and Portugal will be running back towards their own goal. Under pressure, a lot of this high pressure from the United States early on. It will fall out to Riley, who is dispossessed. Taking it up the middle, Bernardo. He'll look to send it wide for Portugal. On the far side is Tavares. João Daniel. They'll run a 4-1-4-1 pretty much, with João Daniel in front of the defenders, captain in that. The United States, meanwhile, will go with a 4-2-3-1, or kind of a 4-3-3. Kind of the three in the middle will alternate between there. A couple of those in that defensive role. And the 3 forwards up there with Ocampo Chavez in the middle, flanked by Reina and Yao.
And look for Saldana to be the fulcrum of that attack, playing just underneath Ocampo Chavez. But at the same time, he can switch positions with Reina, as that's where Reina played when he led NYCFC to the U-18-19 U.S. Soccer Development Academy Championship last season.
Had a chance to call him a couple of years ago and talk to his dad when that was one of the featured games here at the Development Academy, which we'll get into throughout. It's a free kick here for Portugal. About 30 yards out. Over the ball, a 2-man wall for the U.S., and the rest of the line will be held about 18 yards from net. The right foot would be Bernardo. On it, though, is the left foot, sent in towards the back post, headed back across and over the net. And a chance there as the ball sent in by Tavares was headed over by Araujo.
Araujo doing a good job to get to that header on the back post. Only thing is, doesn't really have the angle there. Has to measure that perfectly to beat Lawson, the U.S. goal. Would like to see him put that back across goal and cause even more danger for the U.S. defense.
U.S. playing out of the back. It will be Riley sending it across, working in tandem on the back. Kobe Hernandez over the top, looking off the head of Ocampo Chavez, and the loose ball played away by Portugal. U.S. will play possession now. They'll look to go forward as the Portugal defense shifts, and now they'll switch it back across, but too much inside. But it will go off Portugal, looking for Reina. Throw in to be taken by Scally. Played 3 minutes here at the Premier Sports Campus, Lakewood Ranch. Armour. Cutting inside is Riley, sending it back onto the near side, which is Yao. Yao looks to go in. Will have to, as he gives it into Saldana. Saldana under pressure. Resets. You can hear the drums of the American Outlaws in the background. Damian Loss had an outstanding game last year in Game 1 against England. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. England went on to have a lot of success in that game, but Loss kept the United States in it tight before succumbing. Had a late equalizer nullified by the ref's whistle. Loose ball on the far side. Now Portugal comes away with the loose ball. But the United States recovers.
You can see how dangerous this Portugal side is when they get forward, but I love the high pressure from the U.S. not to allow Portugal to settle in their game and able to win it right back. The more time you give Portugal on the ball, the more dangerous they're going to become.
Slotted through Saldana. Saldana into the box, but he has to turn it back outside. We'll give it out onto the far side for Reina. Reina down to the line. He'll cross it in, and it's deflected off of Portugal, and it will be a corner kick for the United States. It'll be Reina over the ball. He'll be joined out wide by Yao. Two hands up. I remember that goes far post, but instead they've got a new signal. Throws the announcer off. Now to the back post on the ball. And Soares able to corral that one off the line for Portugal.
I'll have to be careful. Free runner down the far side.
Yeah, nice flick on, and it does free up the back. That's Rodriguez. Now across, and now shot off the line. It's cleared. The ball came back, and it was an opportunity for Portugal that the U.S. had two defenders for. Not hardly finished. Gave the U.S. a chance to clear it, but it's not free yet, and the U.S. will head it out of the box now.
Oh, a real let-off for the U.S. there. Lucky to clear that one off the line, but twice now they've been beaten by diagonal balls to the back post. That's something that they're going to have to watch. Also, on corner kicks, your starting positions have to be better so you don't get caught on the counterattack like that. Because corners, when you have everybody up, especially your center backs, is when you're most vulnerable.
Tavares now will send it across. Portugal's mixed up. They're sending the right from the left and switched them up, and this one will go off the United States and result in a corner kick, as it was Rafael Rodriguez who first sent that ball in, as you can see there on the replay. Oh, lost back on his line. Portugal claiming for he may have been over his line, but I don't think the ball crossed that line.
And once again, that header coming in from Rodriguez, but on an acute angle. And even though he did force a good save from Loss, could he have put that back toward the back post and given a chance for a tap-in? Because that's where the U.S. was exposed.
Gave the U.S. a couple of players to get in line to keep that one off the line, which they ended up doing on the next rebound. Here's Tavares. Near post, got to first by the United States and sent up towards midfield. Long ball back into the far post. It's Brito, drops it. And now the header back, and Loss down to his right makes the save. Not a lot on that opportunity by Tomas, but Loss able to get the save.
And the reason there wasn't a lot on that header was because of the great dive from Araujo to make sure that he got a piece of deflection on that cross. And instead of coming in with power, which would have allowed for a better header, you can see right here that it's looped up because Araujo was able to get his foot onto it and make the block.
Good recovery.
Apologies, it was Armour who made the play.
Armour's going to get a talking to, and don't know if it was anything from beforehand, but did he lose a shin guard or something? No, I don't know. Perhaps, but just a verbal word apparently. Well, the U.S. keeps possession. I think as we've played 8 minutes here, Mark, I think we've seen basically a little more possession by the U.S., but it's those opportunities that Portugal are going to have been a little bit more dangerous.
And so they've been given a warning signal. The U.S. now knows that they have to be very quick in transition and can't get caught on the counter. But I still like what the U.S. is trying to do when they go forward, possessing out of the back and continuing to move around. What's really impressed me about Portugal is the fluidity with which they interchange positions, which I think is going to be a great test for the U.S. tonight.
Yeah, we'll leave it in for Saldana towards the corner. Under pressure, he's going to cut it back and looking for an opportunity to get it across. Trying for a little help. Back heel into Armour. Armour will earn the throw.
A great job by Armour getting forward, especially after he had to make the play all the way back at the other end. As you love this about the outside backs of the U.S., they get forward and they play really brave, which is something that the U.S. coaching staff talks to them about, and say, be brave in attacking, be brave in defending, and really have a personality out there, and you're seeing it from these U.S. players early on.
Well, the foul will go for Portugal. The U.S. player falling on the ball, not up fast enough. So the free kick to allow the Portuguese out of trouble. Araujo. High spinning near sideline. Up now, Yao goes one-on-one with the defender who able to get to it. Now it's Portugal who temporarily has the ball at midfield before the U.S. and Axel Alejandro, make that Kobe Hernandez, wins that one.
One thing the U.S. has done really well in the last few minutes is even if they don't win the first ball, they've been winning the second ball, and that's what's keeping Portugal from getting numbers forward.
Nice ball inside, but kind of lost at the feet of Saldana.
But that's what the U.S. needs to do. They need to find those diagonal balls to break the lines of Portugal. That's where they're going to have success this evening.
Back to the back. Araujo cuts inside. That pressure from the U.S. really speeds the game up quite a bit. Down the line. Trying to turn is Daniel Rodriguez, but it was won by Hernandez. Gets it back from his goalkeeper.
Hernandez has done an excellent job in the center back position, especially because that's not his normal position, but the coaching staff is really happy with how he's done there. Both him and Saldana have seen professional minutes in the USL with LA Galaxy too, and you can see that in their calmness of both of them on the ball.
Cross to Alejandro. He'll switch it back, looking for the diagonal. One on the header by Portugal, down to Varsh, and now sent up the field. Again, the U.S. regaining possession in midfield. Inside in for Reina. That ball played towards the corner. First one to it is Portugal, but that will find the stands. Or not quite, but at least finds the wall of the stands and throw in for the U.S.
Right now, Portugal on the offensive side looking to get forward with numbers as quickly and as directly as possible. And you see the U.S. looking more to play through the different levels and break through each line as they go forward. But here's Portugal getting forward once again.
Yeah, and they'll send the ball across. Won by Armour. Second ball, though, as it comes to free in the box. Tavares tries to turn. Tackled away by Armour nicely. And Saldana will find Reina. Reina able to step over, run towards the corner. Being chased by Rafael Rodriguez. Back on the ball, the U.S. out wide for Yao. Switched over. There's Reina. Waiting on it at the 18. Drops it back. Ball sent in. Back post. And Soares has to keep it out. It may have gone just under the bar, but good job by Soares is coming back off the line. That was played in by Scally. So each goalkeeper with a save off the line off not a particularly hard shot, but certainly something that may have found the back of the net had they not been there. Towards a corner. Shoulder charge in the back will not earn Saldana a kick nor the throw. Dropped in. U.S. comes away with it. They'll win the throw this time. Armour on the ball, looking. Armour tries to cut inside. He's taken off it by Portugal. Portugal will earn the kick there as Armour arms around the defender.
Good foul there by Armour, not allowing Portugal to turn and go forward right there and able to get men back.
Ball comes all the way back down to Alejandre, and he and Hernandez will reset for the United States. Over on the side. Reyna will drop it back. Scally. Alejandre, now Hernandez. Hernandez pass inside looking for Yao, but it's won by Portugal. Good work there by the Portuguese to clear the pressure. Now on the far side, Rodriguez. In for Bernardo, and Bernardo will earn the throw. Just past the quarter-hour mark. And play 90. Scoreless here between the United States and Portugal. Into the area. Loss off his line, and Damian Loss will corral that one before Tomas can get to it.
Great idea on that ball. Just a bit too much weight on it. Loss very smart to come off his line and quell the danger. But you got to be careful. You can't get sliced open like that.
And the penetrating ball a little far.
A wonderful vision and a good diagonal run as well. And just too much mustard on that pass, and the U.S. opportunity to come forward.
Looking to go over the top. Second ball, though, falls to Yao. Yao inside. Cannot connect with Reyna. And Rodriguez.
I love the way the front three of the U.S. are switching positions, though. Yao very good at getting the ball and cutting inside. And Alfonso Ocampo Chavez will take his position, and there he comes back to win the ball.
That is Ocampo Chavez inside. Now Saldana, the toe poke by the Portugal defender, but instead it would be a call foul behind the ball as Saldana, and a challenge whistled for the foul.
Ocampo Chavez scoring goals for fun last season. The Development Academy had well over 25, has helped lead the Seattle Sounders to the U-17 title. And he's really carried that form over to the U.S. national team, scoring some important goals for them here at this under-17 level.
Taken by Armour. Inside, Riley. Miscommunication as he plays it towards the corner. U.S. will take this opportunity to pinch in, but will they get there fast enough? And then Portugal takes its time. So that pressure, the high pressure, stepped up on the throw as well. Drops down for Ocampo Chavez. Back for Hernandez. I think one thing we've seen by the throws by Portugal on the near side, you know, a lot of times you see these rules, we kind of alluded to it the earlier game, the 6-second rule by the goalkeepers. That one seems to be ignored sometimes. I'll tell you another one in just a second here is the U.S. looking to threaten. It is Saldana. It'll deflect off the Portugal, and it's still there, and Soares will collect it. But the other one is the back foot usually kind of comes off the ground a few times on those throws. What other ones can you think of, Mark? Can you think of anything else?
Yeah, sometimes if they twirl the ball, I know you're able to do it a little bit more than you used to. It's a lot more lenient, and now they allow a bit of a twist. But as a traditionalist, I really don't enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't like seeing that foot come up because I can't tell you how many times I got called for that as a kid. They should be called for it as well. But it is one of those things that's for the most part ignored. It seems more rare when they do call it. This one played towards the line. Armour reads it, though, and he'll push it towards the corner and now send it up the field, although not a good ball out because it's taken by Portugal. But the rest of the pressure recovers, and they'll send it up towards midfield.
Armour's been really impressive, though, in the way that he steps into passing lanes. Sometimes you think, well, he's not on the man. Why does he seem to be out of position? It's because he already knows where the ball's going to go, and he stepped into that area that the ball is to get to that opponent. And so that's something. He has a really good early reading of the game and anticipation.
Always strong when you can get to the younger age, and that's when reading the game becomes a little more involved. And at that point, the more you can, the better you are, because you're doing less running typically. You see it happening before it happens. Here's Saldana. Near side, good work by Portugal.
Awesome.
On the ball and a good turn.
Beautiful one-touch passing.
But the U.S. does get it at the 18, and they'll send it up the field. Ocampo Chavez working with Saldana now. Saldana under a little pressure. Lose it. No foul call on that one. Is still possession inside now. Daniel Rodriguez. Nice 1-2. Back off to it with Bernardo, and now wide. That's Rafael Rodriguez. Actually, Rafael Rodriguez is the overlap now. He's on it. Looking for Pereira. Enric Pereira onto the left foot. He'll take a shot and just goes across the face of the goal. And looks like there was a touch. Was it by the defender or was it by Damian Loss? It will be a corner kick for Portugal, though. That much we know.
Well, just that ability to create the lovely skill, the quick footwork just to get that half yard of space and then to recognize when a shot is on. And if Loss got a touch to it, it's a wonderful save.
Didn't see anyone before Loss get it, so I would assume the U.S. goalkeeper did. It'll be an outswinging corner here by Bernardo. Back post. We're at 12, and now it's up. Second ball is Armour, and it will go off of Armour and be another corner kick, this time the opposite side.
Really safety first from Armour there. When you're facing your own goal, sometimes that's the best thing to do because you don't know what you're about to turn into, especially in that massive bodies.
Don't know, especially when you go up and challenge for a header and you miss off that, but does clear it out. The outswinger again. Portugal seems to like that one. It'll be Tavares this time, left-footed outswinger. A lot of pushing and shoving in front of the goal mouth, and our referee will make sure they know. As Onagin. Left foot outswinger, this one curling out, bounces at the spot. Now it's still free, and now sent out by the U.S. towards midfield.
Portugal had a great play drawn up on that corner kick, had everybody crowded around inside the 6 to create chaos, and then a player who was on the back snuck in from being close to the keeper and ran around as almost part of a pick, but almost as everybody kind of condenses in and gets compacted in, he comes in behind, and he's the one who got that header. The only problem is, as he's coming back for it, you lose power having to swing your neck around to get that ball towards goal, but it almost worked out well for Portugal.
So many times those set pieces, there's so many creative things now played off of them. That one did not come to fruition. I'm sure they'll not dislike the way it resulted. They'll use it at some point in time. Ball played up. U.S. is that one out, but it's free on the second ball. Onside is Bernardo, as though cross is wayward, and it will be a goal kick for the U.S.
Well, Portugal's coming in wave after wave of attack, but you have to like the way that the United States defense has held firm. They've bent a little bit, but they're not breaking. They're not allowing that final ball in, and you see that there with the wayward cross. So that's good defending by the U.S. Now it's, can we take the game into the midfield? And then after that, can we take the game to our forward line?
It's U.S. with possession in the middle. They'll look for a loss, and he's under pressure now, but he'll play it out short here to Kobe Hernandez. Hernandez looking up the line. That's going to find the green jersey Portuguese, but that's a bad ball back into the middle at the feet of Reina. Giovanni Reina towards the corner and offside. The run not held up by Yao. That one headed away. They're just looking at the size of the Portuguese goalkeeper. Soares, he is a big young man, that's for sure. And only into Quay, because I know Damian Loss, good size as well, but Soares, way more built than I was at this 16, 17 years old. And that one's sent in now here to the United States.
He's way more built than I am now.
U.S. has a clearance. And a chance here now. Under pressure. Portugal has stepped up their pressure a little bit. The U.S. will use their goalkeeper loss to get out of it.
Love the calmness on the ball, though, from the U.S., the high pressure, but they're not just thumping it clear and giving the ball right back, able to build out of the back and now have a chance to get forward down the far side.
Into Reina, drop back. It'll come to the feet of Reina again. Reina down to the line. He'll look to send it across. There's no one there. Portugal doesn't clear the front man, and he'll send it out.
Been really impressed with the last few minutes for the United States. They weathered the storm from Portugal, had a couple nervous moments, but the soccer is a game of ebbs and flows. There are going to be times where you're on the back foot. It's how do you manage those times? The U.S. were able to manage it little by little. They've pushed forward, and now they're starting to tilt the scales in their favor.
Again, keeping possession here as we've crossed 26 minutes played here. Still scoreless here at Lakewood Ranch, the premier sports campus here just east of Bradenton, Florida. That ball by Armour. Down at the feet. It's Yao over the top. Yao had a chance. That ball came free, and from about 15 out, he put it about 3 yards over.
Well, and Yao's been involved in some goals in the last few games, and great opportunity, just didn't lean over the ball when he took that shot, but the positions he's been putting himself in and his movement off the ball has been excellent inside these first 27-plus minutes.
Just look at the goalkeeper for Portugal. Hasn't been asked to do too much here through the first 27 minutes, but off his line strong a couple of times. He'll send this one long. Good tackle by Portugal, now sent out wide on the far side on a good ball by Rodriguez. Into Pereira. Henrik Pereira will lose it. U.S. will have the throw. It'll be Scally. Take it. Premier Sports Campus will be site of all the Development Academy games. That will be the Winter Showcase taking place starting tomorrow.
And this just the second of 568 games that will take place between this Nike International Friendlies, the U20 Women's Nike International Friendlies, and the Boys and Girls U.S. Soccer Development Academy Winter Showcase. So it's going to be a great 2 weeks here in Lakewood Ranch, and this facility is stunning.
9 games in the Friendlies, 6 on the men's side, 3 on the women's side. The U.S. will take on China and France, and China and France will meet off on themselves as well.
Really excited to see France play. It's one of the countries in the women's game who's really been up and coming.
They have been. Had an opportunity to call their national team against Germany a few years ago at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa on the day the United States took on, I believe it was, well, I'll remember it in a moment.
Yeah. That's one of those where at 3 in the morning you'll go, oh, man, that's it.
I think it was the Scotland game. It may have been England as well. So been quite a bit of great women's soccer. And, of course, the under-20s will be here as well coming up next week. For the Nike International Friendlies, we'll have Portugal will take on Brazil in the first game on Friday. That'll be at 3:30. And then Turkey, who lost to Brazil 1-0 earlier, will take on the U.S. on Friday night. And then Sunday, we'll see the reverse matches here as a tackled away here for the United States. Loose ball in toward the corner. It will go off of Scally, and it'll be a throw in Portugal. Sunday will be Portugal taking on Turkey in the early game in the United States and Brazil.
And how many times over the iterations of this tournament has it come down to that last game between the U.S. and Brazil to decide the title?
I think I've done this now. This is my 6th year of the Nike International Friendlies. And it's, I believe, 4 of the time, maybe 5 of the times. One year England kind of had it. But I think, though, it may have been, if the result had gone right, it could have gone Brazil or the United States way. Not necessarily that they either one could have won it, but one of them could have. And that last game always so critical. Here's Portugal. Up the near side to Tavares. And Armour will get whistled for the foul, and he's going to be shown the yellow. Don't know how much he got him, but certainly he thought intent was there. We'll see another look at it here.
And coming in, and he just came in just a little bit late. Tavares so quick with his feet, able to get that ball off, and he knew that if he was able to just poke that ball away, that he was going to get that free kick. So it's just as good play from Tavares, recognizing the situation as it was a little bit of a late challenge from Armour. And that's tough on Armour because he's had his hands full, but he's been really good in these duels, and now he's going to have to give it a second thought every time he goes in.
That's the toughest thing about the yellow. It's just that it takes you away from playing the game you want to play. But, well, deserved in this case. Now the ball sent in by Tavares. Headed up. It's now free in the area. Still sky high, about 8 yards out. It's going to bounce down, and the U.S. will clear it out. That's by Reina, and it will go over the far line, touch line. It will be a throw-in for Portugal.
And what you see from Portugal is the speed of, not only the speed of play, but it's the speed of thought and then the technique to execute it as well. I think it's really great test for the U.S. and how they deal with that. Well, so far they've answered it. Certainly not the same Portugal side we saw the U.S. run rampant against 2 years ago.
They've had a varying degree of success. You mentioned the 5-1. Or was it the 7-1? That was the 7-1, was it not?
I think so.
Yeah, just a couple of years ago. But they had the better end on a couple of years prior to that.
Of course, we talk about the history and the records, but the truth is that every year it's a whole new team, basically. As you said, only 7 players, holdovers from last year's Nike International squad for the U.S.
Brazil only had 2 members, and of course, as we talk about with Portugal and Turkey being here 2 years ago, those young men are now into that next level. As you can see also on those banners on the sideline, the Josh Sargent and the Tim Weyes, who are now doing their business with the U.S. national team. But they were here as recently as a year ago, 2 years ago. Under pressure, Yao will force the pass back by Brito to Suarez. That will deflect off of Rodriguez.
The lines of Portugal are starting to get stretched a bit. The U.S. needs to recognize opportunities to run into those gaps, to receive the ball, to break some pressure. And obviously, the closer you get to goal, the more those lines collapse into each other. It becomes harder and harder. But playing out, there are some opportunities for the U.S. to play through those levels.
Well, Reina, and there's one of those throws you were talking about earlier. Kind of a little twist to it above it, but far less egregious than I think than the foot up. I think the foot up is basically just saying to the referee, hey, daring you to call it. Here's a chance now. Reina, though, in the area. He'll send it across the box. Swash, strong off his line, catches that one before it had a chance to fall to Ocampo Chavez.
A good quick build-up, though, for the U.S., and especially against the goalkeeper of that stature. Just need to get that cross a bit further away. But a lovely turn back.
Well, a turnover to goal! As Yao had it in, and it was a turnover, and Yao has put the U.S. in the lead 1-0. See the careless pass there, Mark. Even more so, the second careless pass there as it was dropped by Araujo and did not find his goalkeeper.
But give credit to Yao, not only the high pressure, but then as that ball comes to him, having the awareness to know that if he tries and takes a touch around a goalkeeper such as Schwarz, he's going to get down and get that ball. So Yao goes first time, perfectly placed. When we talk about the speed of play, the speed of thought and technique of Portugal, well, there it is for Griffin Yao, 1-0 to the U.S.
Well, turnover it was, and sure enough, that's what we've seen. 2 goals here in the Nike International Friendlies. The first one scored by Brazil against Turkey earlier, and it was a bad mistake by the goalkeeper. This one, a bad mistake by the defender. And that's all we've seen so far, but a couple of easy finishes. This one done by Yao and the U.S. with a 1-0 lead.
But it just goes to show as to why high pressing is the standard in the modern game today and what it can do. And also why you continue to press and go after what seems to be lost causes.
Yeah, the piece fell out of the ear and it was just dangling on the ground, but I put it back in, so I just want to make sure you can hear me. So now Portugal finding themselves trailing with a 1-0 deficit. And to be fair, they've had the more dangerous of the chances prior to the goal for the U.S. They got another chance here. This one will deflect off of Hernandez and will be a corner kick again.
Well, it just goes to show when you're playing a team as dangerous as Portugal, you hold, you defend, you manage the game, you take your chances going forward, and that's exactly what the U.S. did.
Bernardo, outswinger, waiting for his big men in the back to get into the area. Last time he sent this right at the penalty spot. Where does he go this time? It's right at the penalty spot again. This one, though, running away from the net, and it will go over the line.
We saw the same thing on this corner kick that we saw in the last one from Portugal. They all start inside the 6, and then a player comes back for that ball right around the penalty spot, but that's where they're having trouble, is trying to redirect it towards goal. And even if they're able to, there's still not as much power on the shot as if you're attacking it.
Because they are running away from the point of the ball moving down.
And they've both been really good set pieces. I understand why you create all that chaos and get everybody sucked in very far on the 6. But while you have players coming back to the ball, I'd also expect 1 or 2 players attacking it from the top of the box.
Here's a chance now for the U.S. Onto the left foot, shot into the net, and just wide of the net. Let's see who that may have been. Well, that may have been Saldana, I think. It was a chance. No, it was not Saldana. May have been Scally from his back position. And we'll try a third guess.
This Ocampo Chavez was so dangerous when he gets the ball and cuts it in, this time on his left foot, and went for the curler. It wasn't that far off, but it's just one of those players where every time he touches the ball, you have a feeling that it's possible that he could score. And it's one thing for the player to have that confidence, but when you transfer it to those watching, you know that something special is brewing.
That's one of those things, if you're on wearing the red, white, and blue, you actually want to see your strikers take those opportunities. Even if they are just wide, you know that eventually it will go their way. Now the U.S. looking to add to their 1-0 lead. Inside, Reyna drops it back in the second ball. Deflected out. And that will go out over the line.
A lovely combination, though, into that channel to open up that space out wide. It was a great job getting forward by Gray. He's done a really good job holding down the midfield, and now he has a chance to attack. And just look at that combination with Reyna. 2 players who know each other well at NYCFC. Even though Reyna spent last year with the 16s, or the 18-19s, well, Gray was with the 16-17s.
Gray will send this one across now. Now it's driven in to the feet of Saldana.
And now they're starting to find those spaces in between the lines, and it's opening things up out wide.
And a chance now for Reyna. He'll drive it near post. Ball's free, 6, and it's cleared away by Portugal off the rebound. Second ball, the U.S. will chase it down, but will have a foul behind the play, and there was a good chance for the United States to add to that lead. Another look.
Oh, it's Reyna once again. I love his desire to create off the dribble as Yao's picked another one off.
And he'll go at net. He'll look to send it across, and that one's intercepted. But Saldana on the poke, and his opportunity from 14 goes over.
Now Saldana leaned back as he shot it, got too excited, saw his window of opportunity closing, and you know they tell you never to do this, but I think there would have been the perfect time for a toe poke. Right here, he's trying to settle it. He sees him closing.
Leaning back.
And there, if he just gets his knee over the ball, that's going in. Well, you can see why Saldana is the most capped player on this team, earning his 15th tonight. It just seems to get himself into those spots. He knew he wasn't going to get to that first ball, but he anticipated where the second ball was going to go, and it certainly fell to him. Very well could be 2-0 U.S. as they're starting to see that that back line is definitely
prone to turnovers.
Prone to some turnovers under pressure, exactly.
This time Araujo play it back to Suarez. Now sent across on the far side is Pereira.
And one of the things about the U.S. too is we've talked about the excellent pressure from the front 3, but the midfield needs to go off that pressure, and the midfield 3 has done a great job taking the cues from the forward line. I think the U.S. has had the better of the game in the last 10 to 15 minutes.
And they'll have a throw here as we've just under 3 minutes of time here in the first half, although probably a little bit of stoppage. We've had a couple small little delays. This one sent towards the back post off the left foot. It's going to be run down by Reyna. Reyna will cut it inside. Here's Scally. Scally tries to go around the defender. he'll win it back, and he'll win a corner.
And just again, that back line showing they're very vulnerable under pressure. You know, we saw it today with Brazil. They were so comfortable in possession, and then in the last 5 minutes going in search of the equalizer, Turkey was pressing them. They started to turn over the ball.
This one sent in, headed away by Quaresma. Tavares will run down, but he's beaten to it by Reyna. Reyna tries to turn, and he'll earn the free kick. So the free kick taken short by the United States. They have the 1-0 lead on the goal by Yao. A gift from the Portugal defense, but also great hustle. This one is a good turn and now struck over the ball by Ocampo Chavez.
You have to love those shots, though, because when you shoot from outside like that, obviously you want to test the goalkeeper. But when you take those shots, it forces the defense up to cover those shots, and that means that you can then slip in balls behind to runners like Yao or Reyna making the diagonal run.
Soares will kick that one out of bounds. Had a couple spin towards the near sideline a couple times on these goal kicks. Headed on now. Played back to the goalkeeper Soares. Ocampo Chavez will pressure him into a bad ball. We will have 1 minute of stoppage time. Reyna on it will look to turn. Now it's sent in right into the gut of Soares. He'll drive a ball that's going to roll, and it will roll all the way back to Damian Loss. So what we saw in the first few minutes, Mark, of not first few minutes, but the first 20 minutes, a couple of dangerous chances by Portugal, but they really haven't had anything since then.
The U.S. weathered the storm, started to play their game, grew into it, and have really imposed themselves in the second part of this first half. And it's been an excellent half for the U.S., not only in the way that they've closed it out, but in the way that they managed that first part of the game, too, when they were pinned back a little bit.
So Scally looks for the ball. And we will not have the throw from that point in time. The United States and Portugal have reached the halfway mark, 45 minutes down. But in those first 45, I know we just kind of talked a little bit about the recap of the half, but certainly something that both teams probably be looking at like, hey, we did all right, but we want to be doing better as well.
Exactly. I think for Portugal, we've got to be stronger along the back line, and we've got to feed it into the midfield and begin to get forward. The reason they were so dangerous is they were direct, but with a purpose. They weren't just thumping balls long, but it was only 2 or 3 passes before the ball got up top, and then they looked to create. But this man, Griffin Yao, has been excellent. His runs off the ball, and take nothing away from him here. Terrible back pass, but he ghosted in. That defender had no idea Yao was there. Otherwise, I guarantee you he would have played that ball with more pace to his goalkeeper. A
lot of times they just don't know exactly the speed that may be there, and certainly the misplay was capitalized by the United States to the tune of a 1-0 lead. We are at the half here at the Premier Sports Campus, Lakewood Ranch, Florida, the Nike International Friendlies. Second half action coming up in a few minutes. Highlights from the first half. Portugal and the United States, and this is the first chance here, Mark.
And that one cleared off the line, but once again, you're seeing those headers coming from tight angles. Maybe put those back across goal for a higher percentage chance, and hear that cross. And the reason that header didn't have a lot on it was because Armour was able to get his foot in on that cross, but then the U.S., as we talked about, really grew into the game, and this man, Griffin Yao, had been a nuisance all half, and he would play a big part later on.
It's a nice reach there by Suarez, but here is the goal there. You see it came out of nothing, really. A couple of passes here, and Portugal trying to send it back across. Already in trouble there, and then that wasn't a real good ball at all.
But it's that anticipation, understanding the pressure. He went toward that ball. He knew exactly where it was going, and he pounced on it, and then a great finish as well. And, you know, normally I think the celebrations aren't as good as the goals, but that was a pretty good one. They did well there.
U.S. tried to add on to it right there a little bit later, but
Ocampo Chavez so close, the audacity to try and pick out the far corner like that. And then it was Yao again. He's been full of running in this game, and that ability to take players on and to look for people there. And then Saldana just couldn't get over that ball. If he gets his knee over it, the U.S. are starting these final 45 minutes with a 2-0 lead.
But it is just 1-0, and we are getting ready to get set here. Portugal will kick off, and obviously the team switched sides, looking to see any subs. Did not see any announced. We'll continue to go over to verify, but Portugal trailing 1-0 will kick off, and they'll send it long up the line. That's onto the near side now. And an opportunity here, but a good tackle in the back by Alejandre, and he'll quickly try and counter it too. Sent up, and that will roll over the line before Ocampo Chavez can pressure.
The U.S. has been the most dangerous with the ball at the feet of its front three, Ocampo Chavez, Yao, and Reyna. And so if I'm them, if I'm the U.S., I'm getting the ball to them as quickly as possible so that they can create with numbers, or at least with Portugal thin in the defense.
There's Bernardo. He'll look to switch it to Brito. And Brito's ball up the field will reach the seats. Ball in. Daniel Rodriguez is taken off it by Riley. Riley whistled for the foul. That's sent in. Daniel Rodriguez into the corner. He'll look to send it across. He does. Headed down. It's going to go just past everyone and rolls towards the near side of the box. Opportunity now out for Rafael Rodriguez. Sends it in, and it will go over the foot of Bernardo, and it will go into the hands of Damian Loss. Loss under pressure, gets it off to the chest of Scally. And now Reyna. Reyna holding off the defender. Plays it up the line to Ocampo Chavez, who will earn a throw. But we've talked a little bit about the games that we saw earlier today, the mistake that Brazil got their goal, and a win against Turkey, 1-0. We've got Development Academy, the United States Soccer Development Academy. The Winter Showcase will be tomorrow. Games starting tomorrow and going through Monday. Here's Reyna, who once played in the Winter Showcase a couple years ago with NYCFC. Sends that one across, and it will deflect off the defender as Scally's cross will find the bleachers. It'll be a corner kick. That action, always check it out, ussoccerda.com. We'll have that tomorrow. We'll have a couple games on Saturday as well, and then wrap it up on Monday for you before the ladies take over on Wednesday of next week. Here's Yao. Drives this one near post, and it was meant to be flipped up and over. Instead, it goes up and forward over the line as Ocampo Chavez can't continue it on. It will be a goal kick. They're going to call a handball on Scally. And Portugal looking to drive it forward, looking for the long ball across, and that will go off of Scally and will be Throw in for Portugal. Portugal looking for the long ball now, it seems to be here more so as we started the first few minutes of the second half.
Well, we've seen how dangerous their forward players are with the ball at their feet. And so they're trying to get it there as quickly as possible. The U.S. is just starving them of service right now.
Saldana tries to clip it over to Yao. Instead, it will go over the line. It will be a throw-in. Driven ball across the field, nicely done by Portugal. Overlapping run, they got numbers lined up, but U.S. trying to recover. Reina to look to slow it down. Tavares up, and it will deflect, and it will go off of the U.S. and Armour. It will be a throw-in for Portugal. Into the area. Deftly touched. Now a shot's going to deflect, and it's going to bounce free. The numbers were on the back post. Instead, it comes to the one U.S. player, that being Scally, who will send it across midfield. Again, the long ball across. And with two players out there, it slowed the U.S. down enough to not be able to get to that one. Pereira.
A good header away by Armour there. Once again, not on the man, but that's because he was in position, knew exactly where the ball was going to go and intercepted it. Oh, and that's a heavy challenge.
And we will see a card here. That's to Riley.
Well, that's the second yellow card that Tomasz has been able to win for his side. Just when he gets that ball and he touches it away so quickly, knowing that he's going to get that foul. Whenever he sees that slide, look, he sees the slide coming, so he touches it away. Well, he's a very smart player. Apologies, that's Tavares. Tavares is just really good at being quick with his feet.
And he'll take the free kick. Spray can down for the one-man wall of the United States. Tavares over it, looking to the left foot. He'll swing this one into the area, curling towards the goalkeeper. Back post, headed on, and it's Loss who has to go down to the near post to make the save. Portugal able to get the head on it, and it went down to the near post. The ball hung up. Thought maybe Loss could have come off, but when you don't come off, you make sure you make the save, and he certainly did that.
Loss in good position there. There's no way he was going to be beaten at his near post.
Corner kick, and now Loss comes off his line strong and collects that one. Nice job by the U.S. goalkeeper. The U.S. will play out of the back. Well read by Portugal, and well done by Scally to play it off. With the Portuguese defender, Rafael Rodriguez, making an overlapping run. Yao working with Ocampo Chavez. Ocampo Chavez.
The way
drops it back.
He has his head up at all times.
And to Riley. Riley switching it. It's Reina. Back in on the left foot, now the right foot. He'll cut it back to the left foot again. Shot, and it's into the near post netting, wide of the goal. Giovanni Reina with some great individual work, but the shot not on target would be a goal kick.
Beautiful 1-2, though, in tight spaces to spring Reina there. And then Reina does the rest. Just engineers that half yard of space and just couldn't beat the keeper at his near post. Tavares did well to come out and cut down the angle.
Well, Portugal playing it dangerous again. They've been victimized by a turnover to the tune of a goal. Another turnover didn't cost them. This time, though, they're able to clear it out. Scally is stepped on by Pereira. And free kick will go the United States way.
The maturity Scally plays with, you understand why it was the second ever youngest signing after Freddie Adu in Major League Soccer. He's already played for NYCFC in the U.S. Open Cup.
Tomash can't connect with his teammates, and it will be a throw in for the U.S. We'll have a substitution for Portugal. And coming off will be Tavares. Coming on will be Sousa. Garrison Sousa. So the U.S. looking to bring it up the field. They will on the far side. Dropped back. Riley under pressure. We'll get it over here now to Gray. Gray near sideline. Back to Gray. Nice job of Yao keeping it in and earning a throw. That was looked like destined for a throw in for Portugal, but it's a good individual work and it'll be a throw for the United States.
Portugal has really stepped up their pressure, but the U.S. doing a good job to play one touch, two touch in order to work through it.
Scally is fouled by Sousa, who's making himself known in the game. In for less than a minute and already getting a talking to.
That was a silly foul. Scally had nowhere to go. The ball was already going backwards, and he steps in, and instead of a chance to go forward for Portugal, it's going to be an opportunity to tease one into the mix for the U.S.
Scally will drive it across. Will it get there? Yes, it does. Reyna. I think it went off of Reyna. It did.
Looks like Burrito took a knock for his troubles, but he seems to be all right. That back foot came up. I was watching just for you, Mike. That back foot did come up. But,
every time.
It's kind of like a double dribble in basketball. It's one of those things where I think if it doesn't really affect the game, then the ref will let something like that go. But you were absolutely right. I didn't see it the first time. I certainly saw it that time.
I think it's the fourth time today. And this time I actually was looking away, but I'm glad I'm not going crazy and someone else saw it. Here's a chance now. Scally. Scally brings it down, but as he drives into the box, it is cleared away by Quaresma. You know, and I think, you know, maybe it's exacerbated by the fact he's wearing the neon yellow shoes, which never in my day, every shoe was all black and white in mine. That's dating myself to a certain extent. There's another ball left in for Yao. It's going to roll too far, and it's collected by Suarez.
Yao was looping his run a bit, needed to be a bit more direct to get to that. I think he was worried about staying onside there, but the idea is good. Yao now has 3 goals in just 4 games for the U.S. here at the under-17 level.
Impressive. This one looking for Yao, but it's taken down by Quaresma. Now sent out to the near side by Rodriguez. Into Bernardo. Into the substitute Sousa. Yao up the line, not going to connect with Ocampo Chavez. Instead, Portugal brings it out of their own third and now driven.
This is where Portugal's so dangerous, is off the dribble.
It's Rafael Rodriguez, left foot cross, header up one, but it's over the net. Goal kick.
Good job by Hernandez, doing just enough to put off the attacker there. Because Portugal have been winning those headers in the box, and sometimes you face a taller opponent, you know you're going to win the header, but can you disrupt them so they can't hit it cleanly? And that's exactly what Hernandez did. And the intelligence of these U.S. players is just so high.
Headed back up the line, and it will creep over the side for a throw in. Throw in for again for the U.S. into the 60th minute. U.S. on a Griffin Yao first half goal. Lead Portugal 1-0.
We'll talk about this being an opportunity to players for make a case for themselves heading into the CONCACAF qualifying in the CONCACAF U-17 championships in the spring. And Griffin Yao certainly done that. 3 goals in 3 games now for him.
Yeah. We'll say a couple of players that would typically be a part of this 17 squad, not available for the United States because they are competing in MLS into the Final Four. And there's a chance here now for the U.S. Ocampo Chavez.
Well, that's where it has to be just one step quicker from the U.S., especially at this level.
Sent across far side.
Well, stepped in by Armour once again. There's a player down behind the play. Referee coming over to check on him.
That's
Quaresma, who's struggling.
Their captain.
Well, it's a good chance for these players to catch their breath right on the hour mark. And this game's really been end-to-end. Hasn't settled into, possession game going side to side. It's been really back and forth.
Typically, when you see many of these European countries come over and you see them rubbing that, there's always a cramp, it appears. And typically in Florida, you're going to have the humidity issues that might do it. But don't want to speculate on what that is. But the U.S. substitution, they will be set to make it, and coming on will be Ricardo Pepi. Not just yet, though, apparently. He's making it over, but we should expect to see the youngster make his Nike International Friendlies debut on the next opportunity. Meanwhile, Quaresma, after getting some treatment, had to come off and looking to be waved back on, and he is. The U.S. will have a free kick now. Alejandro will send it up, looking for Ocampo Chavez. He wins it, but the second ball now sent back up the field. Kobe Hernandez. Long to the feet. Nice job bringing it down. Now it's over here for Saldana. Saldana with Scally. Now dropped in. U.S. with a chance onto the near post, and it's softly played back. Shot on net, and Suarez will get it. He'll try a long ball. Driven. It's a dangerous opportunity.
How about that for a bit of distribution from the Portuguese goalkeeper?
A little side foot that never goes too high. I used to do a drop kick that it could do pretty well, but I like that it's a little quicker played when he can play it directly off on the pump. Back again to Suarez.
Really excited to see what Ricardo Pepi brings into this game as he's getting set to check in. There's an 03 who head coach Sean Sakaris is very high on. And said that he's come in and worked really hard. And it's a fantastic mentality, and he loves his approach to training.
And he will come on for Ocampo Chavez.
And you could just see that last shot from Ocampo Chavez look tired. So it's a good substitution made by Sean Sakaris. Well, it's an excellent shift for Ocampo Chavez tonight, though. Worked really well in not only interchanging positions, but combining with Griffin Yao and Giovanni Reyna.
Long ball looking for Pepe. Pepe maybe gets away. No, he did not get away with the shove, but he did get spotted for the shove. Dropped up the line. It's Bernardo. This time whistle for a foul himself.
Just tremendous work by Kobe Hernandez, sticking to him like glue, step for step on that run, and then getting his body in front, winning the ball, and shielding it off till Bernardo fouls him out of frustration. Look at the way he makes himself not only as big as possible, but as wide as possible, too.
It's Gray who...
apologies, it is Gray, isn't it?
Gray came down, and that's even, you see the midfielder, and Gray plays that defensive midfielder position. Good job of running with your runner. That's so key, and so that's the difference you see. Sometimes you just watch people pass them on to the defenders, and that's where you see loose runners coming back and beating you the other way. Throw in goes Portugal's way. Well, as we've passed 65 minutes mark and the U.S. leading 1-0, at what point do you think Portugal starts to go for it, I guess, for lack of a better term?
I think they are trying to go for it. The U.S. is just doing an excellent job of sticking with the front men and also wreaking havoc in midfield. You see, it's a great move here, but just the skill that it took to even break away and create that opportunity for Portugal.
Well, it was Bernardo on the run, or excuse me, that was Rodriguez on the run. And they're going to get a free kick here, about 26 yards out, about 28 yards out. We'll see where the wall goes. I think we'll see it right on the 18. We'll see where that line is. Oh, no, we'll go. It's 27 yards out as we see it 1 yard inside the area.
The referee going with where the foul was committed rather than where the play ended up. And it's actually going to work out better for the U.S., but Portugal has a long line of players who are just tremendous at free kicks. Not only Cristiano Ronaldo, but going back to the likes of Ricardo Quaresma, Luis Figo, and Rui Costa as well.
Well, there is a Quaresma on the field, but it's not that one. And this one will be taken if it's Brito with the left foot or Bernardo with the right. That one never had a chance, never came back down. And it will be a goal kick for the United States. Well, Damian Law says, guys, push on up. We'll send this one up the field. It does on the far side. Yao has drifted back over to the left.
Well, you asked me when you think Portugal is going to go for it. They're about to make a triple change.
I think that's it, and we'll see maybe a little more attacking style that will get them, as we look at around the 70th minute. So that's their magic number. 20 minutes down, 20 minutes remaining. That's not a good ball across. One back by Reyna. Reyna finds Scally. U.S. would like nothing more than to double their lead here prior to these last 20 minutes being played. Here's Reyna sent out wide. Yao cuts into the area. Somehow still has it after losing a couple times, but the U.S. now sends it back across. Here's Gray. Gray towards the sideline. Lifting his head, but stopped there by Portugal. Now they'll try a deft touch up the line. That one actually off the United States, but maybe got lucky there. It looked like Riley maybe had to go off, but it was a challenged ball, so maybe goes in. Offside is the call officially. So the Portugal subs, Quaresma will come off. And we'll see Henrik Pereira and Charisma, as we mentioned, off. As well as Bernardo, or make that, excuse me, Daniel Rodriguez. The new members out there for Portugal will be Francisco Conceição for number 9. Number 14 will be Felipe Cruz. I did not catch the other number there. I think perhaps.
That's number 19, Batala.
There we go. Gonçalo Batalha. Bantalaj, I think, is Portuguese. My Portuguese is not the best. It's probably not even good. We'll do our best. Be a throw in here for Portugal.
Be interesting to see how the U.S. tries to see out these final 20 minutes. Do they continue to attack and go forward as they can on the counter here? Well, I'll get back to it in a second, and that's got to be a yellow card. If ever there was a tactical foul, that was it.
Yeah.
I knew exactly what he was doing. The bear hug. He could see how frustrated Reyna was.
Gio was on a great run, running around and really kind of showing off the speed.
Well, I was just going to say, is the U.S. going to sit back and try and absorb the pressure and let Portugal come in wave after wave of attack, or are they going to continue to go forward? They had a counterattack opportunity there, so they took it. But how the U.S. manages this game in the final 19-plus minutes is going to tell us a lot about this team.
Well, I think we're still probably a little bit ahead of that time. I think once you hit 80, you kind of look at the different philosophy. But right now, if you can add that second goal, my thoughts, we'll see obviously what the team does. But
it's just interesting. We saw in the first game Brazil sit back for those final 10 minutes, and were really put under the cosh.
There's a chance. Good job of recovery by Scally. Good job by Reyna now. He'll find Gray. Riley. Look at the U.S. at this time. They've kind of missed a couple of opportunities to send it across, but will they take advantage of it? No, they don't. That pass intercepted. Sent back inside. Scally, good tackle on the ball.
That's a tremendous challenge from Scally because he was coming in from behind, so he had to get it absolutely right. That is almost a perfect ball from Giovanni Reyna.
Offside. One thing we'll keep a look at here is Sousa has shown a little bit of speed. Scally's shown some great recovery work, but that's a lot of runs going down the field. And this one's onside here. Las is able to get to it with a little help on the shield by Alejandre. Bernardo on the ball here for Portugal. Portugal has used 4 subs. United States yet to use one. That shot from distance. Las collects it. Short hop. Nice job of holding on to it by the young American. Sent up the line on the far side. Yao cuts inside. Oh, miscommunication between Reyna and Pepe. Excuse me, that is the one sub here for the United States. I have used one. But he looked to be waiting, and as Reyna thought he was going, he went ahead and played it there, and Pepe was holding up.
Yeah, Pepe was waiting to make the run, and then when he gave up on the run, that's when Reyna played it. It's just a timing issue, something that they'll sort out, even over just these 2 or 3 games. So obviously, Reyna has been heavily involved, but for Ricardo Pepe, it's just his 4th cap. Well, that's something you have to think about in these friendlies. Sometimes you'll see that timing will be off and something. A lot of these players still getting used to each other as new players come into the system.
A lot of physical play down the sideline, but the throw in not looked on by Sousa. Up the field to the chest of Pepe. Leah tries Leah for Saldana. Portugal comes away with it. Just past the 75th minute here. U.S. still leading 1-0.
Portugal not at all happy. They felt that was a 2-footed challenge from Scally. And the referee's going to have a word with him.
He will get the foul against him.
He got the ball. You just can't go in with that approach. 2 feet coming in, but what's the difference between the old days and now? In the old days, it was you win the ball, it doesn't matter how.
Didn't matter how.
Now you come in and a stud showing, or you leave both feet in the air, you're going to get called for it, even if you win all ball.
And more than likely, if the studs are showing, you'll have a card. It's up to the referee, the discretion of whether it be yellow or red. Pretty universal when you see it, and I guess depending upon the angle that they're at. There's a chance here as Sousa tries to bring it down. He'll get whistled for the foul from behind as Scally able to step in front of it. It wasn't Scally, excuse me. That was Riley, I believe.
Oh, Riley did so well. Knew that Sousa was coming in behind him, so what he did was he got his body in the way so that if Sousa was going to get the ball, the only way would be through him. He took a knock for his troubles, but it was well worth it. It's a real big get-out-of-jail-free card for the U.S. on this free kick.
Saldana leaves it for Reyna. Reyna splits the defenders, tries to go around one, plays it off his back. Now over to the far side. Here's Yao, right foot back to Reyna. Reyna a little too far in front of him, and now Portugal able to come away with it.
No, Yao didn't have a hit there, but he was going for the layup rather than just having a shot as the opportunity presented itself. But if I can get it into Reyna, it would be an easier chance for Reyna, but especially as things close down so quickly and these window of opportunities are so small, I think that's when he could have hit. But it was all created by the silky dribbling of Giovanni Reyna. Great job to beat 2 or 3 guys and open up that space for Yao out wide.
That one will find the seats. Looks like the U.S., talking to a couple of subs, might be ready to make a second one here in a moment. One thing to keep an eye on, the U.S. does have 2 players on a yellow card. One of those being Riley, the other one being Armour. Haven't heard a lot from Armour here in the second half, but Portugal hasn't really tried to go up that side like they did in the first half. That ball played long, up. Wanting a call of offside, and they will get it, will Portugal, on the delayed offside call. See whether or not Pepe made the run on the play or not. Little space now for Sousa. He'll try and play it, chip it up into there, and it will roll over the head, and Loss will fall on it. Be Peter Stroud for the United States, who will look to come on. Loss sends it long. Pepe will get whistled for the foul. U.S. will make a sub. Off will be Saldana. As we mentioned, Stroud will be the guy coming off.
Well, Saldana's had a really good game. We talk about the work that the front three has done, but they've been able to do it because Saldana's done the dirty work in behind them, and then he's also been dangerous helping out on the attacking end.
Sent across the field. Bernardo looking on the near side. Here is Rodriguez. Rafael Rodriguez cannot control it. United States with Reyna.
What a cheeky touch that was from Reyna to get around the man.
Up the field, here's Sousa. One-on-one with Scally, goes around him. Into the box, Sousa plays it in, shot, goal. Portugal ties it up here as the clock strikes 81.
Well, that's just how quickly Portugal can break. You give them a little bit of space, a chance to go at you one-on-one, and that's what they can do. And Sousa was brought on to stretch the defense, and he did just that. The one time he's able to get away from Scally, perfect cross, and on hand to finish off was Tomasz. And Tomasz, really all he had to do was get a touch on it, and he did just that. Perfect ball played across from Sousa, but that's exactly what he was brought on to do, is to go long, stretch the defense, and see if they could find a way through. Now, what will the response be from Stroud in the U.S.?
Well, Stroud is in. It was a nice, nifty ball. Stroud goes down, still free in the area.
Well, the referee's going to let this one go.
And Pepe will get called for the foul again.
Didn't really see anything in it there from Pepe.
I think he was grabbing the arm at that point in time, but always when you have a defender who's running away from the goal, the referee is always looking for a way, how do we get him out of this, you know? And it's not whatever team it may be. And when you're a forward, you can't give him that reason to make the call. This one's called on Gray. Here's Sousa. Sousa looking to go in the far post. Going to go a little too far, but it will go over for a goal kick. So we're tied at 1. 7 minutes in any stoppage time as Portugal set to make another sub. Played towards the corner. Here is Yao, the U.S. goal scorer in the first half. Looking to drop it in for Reyna, and it's too far. As it goes over the line for Suarez. Portugal sub. Coming off will be Rafael Rodriguez, and on will be Leonardo Buta. Strong header by Gray. Played towards the corner. Down, drop down. It's Conceição. Conceição drops it in, gets it back. He's in the area, but a good job recovery by the U.S. Still free, though, on the far side. Armour. Now it's sitting on the wall, looking over the head of Souza. Souza's ball dropped back, won by the U.S. as Reyna chasing back. Was that Reyna? That actually was Pepe chasing back, excuse me. He and Reyna seem to have maybe shifted a little bit. Looking for Reyna. Reyna will get whistled for the foul. Assistance of the linesman. It had been an advantageous pull that was spotted.
We'll see U.S. just thumping that one clear there. Would like to see him start to string a few more passes together. Have them move up as a unit. You're starting to see the Portuguese front three really push this back line as far back as they possibly can. And it's opening up the space for the midfielders to take in those gaps.
Loss quick off his line as that ball slotted into the area. Damian Loss makes a nice play there.
And that's why Loss is going to throw this one out. Don't want to just punt it and give it a chance for Portugal to retake possession. Want to see the U.S. hold the ball a little bit and grow back into this match, as they did at the end of the second half. And here they might have a chance through Reyna. Oh, and he pulled up, I think.
Stroud tried to slot it through. Under pressure. Good work there by the U.S. 4v3 now off to the fifth man in gray. Here's Reyna. Reyna looking on the backside. It's open on the far side. Will he finish first time? No. Reyna's cramping on the near side. Meanwhile, shot brought back in. Yao pushes it towards the corner where he's able to chase it down. Tries to cross in. It's free in the area. Off the chest, though, of Portugal, and they'll send it out of the area. Trying to go towards the corner. It'll be a foul, and Scally will get issued the yellow card. Third card to the United States today. Meanwhile, Giovanni Reyna.
I think he's just cramping the way he's stretching it out.
I think we saw that a little bit earlier for him.
Reyna doesn't even want the training staff to come check on him. He's going to stay in, try and walk it off. Well, Scally was always going to get a yellow for his next hard challenge, as he was in hot water after he had made that two-footed tackle earlier on.
That's probably quantity as Reyna goes down now. Looks to be the right calf, perhaps. And I think you're right, it is the cramping. U.S. yelling for one of the many members that have been warming up on the sideline to come on down. You're going in, I believe. Strategy session here, perhaps, for both teams as they head to their benches as the clock strikes 88.
Well, the adjustment that Portugal made is they've pushed their front three higher. And not only does it push the U.S. back line back, but it opens up the space in which the midfielders have been attacking off the dribble. And so that's why Portugal has gotten better in this game. The other thing, and really hard to do against a team Portugal's quality for 90-plus minutes, is you can't allow them to have any room to run at you because they're so creative off the dribble. The moment they started to get a little bit advantage, the moment the defenders started to give even half a yard, that's when Portugal was able to get back into this game. And up until then, the U.S. had been doing a great job of staying right on top of them step for step.
Well, as Reyna makes his way over, looks like the U.S. will be set with Cameron Dunbar, perhaps, getting his first chance in the Nike International Friendlies. Do the U.S. make the sub here? I think they do, while there's a stoppage in play. Or is it for Reyna? Perhaps it's not. Reyna looks like he's wanting to go back in.
Well, you love that competitive Reina. He's going to do everything he can to stay on this field.
And he will, at least not at this moment. It'll be Yao who's coming off.
Oh, what a game Yao has had.
With the goal and numerous other chances created. So the U.S. will be still down a player for just a moment. The ball has to at least be played back in before he's able to come back in. And with the ball still on the near side, and the referee still holding him up. Bernardo. Now he's waved back on. Chance down towards the corner. And it will be a corner kick for Portugal.
A great job by Riley, though, not to allow that cross. Standing him up. One thing you notice is Riley's head was watching the ball the entire time. Doesn't matter how much a player wiggles his hips or steps with his feet. It's going to be 4 minutes of stoppage time. But if you watch that ball, you're not going to fall for the fakes.
Headed away off the corner by the U.S. Sent back into the area. Loss has to punch it off his left hand towards the back post. May have stopped the runner from getting a chance at it. But it is free to Portugal. They're going to send it back into the area, top of the box. It's going to deflect off the United States, and now they will send it out. It will be a throw in for Portugal. 1-1. Portugal with the momentum here in the last 10-15 minutes. Was able to equalize. This one's going to go too far. It'll be a U.S. goal kick. Really kind of a game of spurts for these teams, right? We saw the first 10, 15, 20 minutes, Portugal better chances, and the U.S. kind of took over the second half. Starts this half pretty much the same way. U.S. controlling play until about the 70th minute mark or so.
It's been really fun to watch because it's been so back and forth and even. And you still have that feeling that either side could steal a winner here in stoppage time. Well, it's been really interesting to watch how these teams manage those moments where they're on the back foot. Well, I think that's something that both these teams, no matter what the result, both head coaches will feel that this has been a great learning exercise.
I agree with that. And Alejandro is called for the handball. That's where the free kick is as he came in. This is about 40 yards out. Will they just play it in? Really stepping over the ball is Gonzalo. Gonzalo will play it into the area. It's going to come down to the feet of one of the U.S. players who will send it over the far touchline, throw in.
Well, we talked about it, too. To stop a creative team, you have to win those second balls if you don't win the first. And when the U.S. has done that, that's when they've been on the front foot in this game.
Played long, and again, another goal kick for the U.S.
The defensive shape has been excellent, too, though. I mean, one thing I was thinking about is that we haven't really mentioned the center backs in the second half, but the old cliche goes, if you're not talking about the center backs, that means they're doing a great job.
Yeah, I agree with that, and it's much like the first few minutes with Gray, who just plays in front of them. I didn't see him, but then all of a sudden he made a huge impact, but just quietly doing the thing. Here's a chance now for the U.S. Into the area. Shot, and it's a save. The rebound falls down to Reina, and it's popped out. Was that Pepe? It was Pepe there. As this one sent back on the far side. U.S. still trying to keep the pressure up.
Well, what an introduction that would have been for Dunbar.
Dunbar had that chance, and the shot was down. Now is a chance for Portugal. We're into the final minute of stoppage time. Tackled away. The U.S. looks to bring it up the field. Here's Reina. Reina drops it short. A little bit long as Pepe was waiting for something else.
Pepe was trying to stay onside, so he took that step back as the ball went forward. Once again, just a timing thing. if they get that timing down, then Pepe's in behind that defense, and something you may see happen later on in the tournament. But I think a very credible result for both teams here.
A last-minute chance by the U.S. does not show fruit, but both teams will walk away with a point. They will be tied for second here as Brazil had the 1-0 victory against Turkey earlier today. They lead the Nike International Friendlies after match day 1. Match day 2, we'll see the U.S. and Turkey, as well as Portugal and Brazil, which will precede the U.S. and Turkey. But final thoughts here today, Mark. What do you think on this one here on the outcome?
It was a really fun game. The ball was not bogged down in midfield at all. It was end-to-end, ebbing and flowing. Yao stealing this one in and giving the U.S. the lead, and that's when the U.S. really took over. But give credit to Portugal. They fought back, and they were able to find the equalizing goal. And I think in the end, a draw really is a fair result for the way this game went back and forth.
Yeah, and both teams there will both think they probably left a couple of points on the board, but certainly the draw does nothing. They both control their destiny here as they will get to the rest of the matches there, as Pepe had that last chance after the opportunity by Dunbar. But tonight it is. We'll see both teams walk away with the point. And again, those will happen on Friday. For tomorrow, Mark, you and I will be out here for the Winter Showcase, the U.S. Soccer Development Academy opportunity. And I know our next opportunity, called the Nike International Friendlies, should be a little bit warmer so after a cool evening tonight.
Well, it's exciting about that being warmer, but also really excited as we're going to focus on the U-18-19s tomorrow, starting with Richmond United taking on Sacramento Republic. That at 11 a.m. And then at 2 o'clock, you have Pateadores taking on Real Colorado. So 2 really good games from teams that have done an excellent job so far, and it's going to be really fun to watch those games. And so the back and forth between the DA and the Nike International Friendlies, first the boys side this week, the girls side next week. It's going to be a really fun 2 weeks, and I think today was a great start.
Well, it was a start, and we'll continue the Nike International Friendlies on Friday. But for Mark Suber, I'm Mike Pepper. The U.S. and Portugal finish in a draw. We'll see you tomorrow.